Hello, I am doing the Australian plate, which is located over here. It is in the eastern and southern hemisphere. It was originally a part of the ancient continent Gondwana. It remained connected to India and Antarctica until approximately 100 million years ago, which then India broke apart and started to move north. So the lithosphere for the Australian plate is continental, whereas this Pacific plate here is oceanic. Now the surrounding plates are the Eurasian plate, Pacific plate, and the Antarctic plate. Now the motion between these, as you can see down here, there's a key, between the Eurasian and Indian Australian plate. It is mostly convergent. There is a little bit of transform in there. See that there. But for the most part, it's convergent. Same with the Pacific, mostly convergent all the way through here. But with the Eurasian plate, the Australian plate is being subducting underneath the Eurasian plate, whereas with the Pacific plate, it is being subducted underneath the Australian plate. Now with the Antarctic plate down here, it is divergent, which means they're spreading apart, creating trenches, ocean trenches, and there's volcanoes. With the Pacific plate and it being convergent, there is this thing that is called the Ring of Fire, which is completely all around, and it is like the horseshoe. It's like a horseshoe shaped almost, but that is where volcanoes are known and where the plate is known to have the most earthquakes. Now in 2012 there was actually 2 8-magnitude earthquakes in Australia from that, and 4 fault lines broke apart. Now the movement of the Australian plate, it moves 60 to 70 millimeters a year, which is not much when compared to like the Eurasian plate, which moves about 4.5 centimeters a year, which is almost 2 inches. It's quite a bit. Now with this Ring of Fire here, this is how scientists and people are able to use earthquakes and use the fault lines and things like that to determine the movement of these plates. So with the plate, the Pacific plate here, and the Australian plate, along this fault line, there is a lot of, like I said earlier, volcanoes and earthquakes, whereas here there are some mountains being made.